Welcome back to The Struggle Continues. I'm about to interrupt you from our normally scheduled struggle session because season 10 of Love is Blind is on. One of us watches Love is Blind all the time, and one of us has never watched Love is Blind. Not fully, and definitely not intentionally. So this season, we decided we're gonna actually watch it together and give our commentary. Mine is not going to be so much well. I'm already over it, and it's the first episode. So, you want to introduce yourself?
Mm-hmm. So I'm Gary. Uh, you know, yeah, that's pretty much about it. I'm a lifelong Love Is Blind fan. Been watching this since the beginning. Love it. Um, so let's get on to the reaction.
Okay. So, the first episode starts like most episodes, and I'm in my Love is Blind. I have my own journals on all of you. All of you. I have my notes. Okay, so first off, this is my first season. I do know the premise, but I'm going to have Gary explain the actual premise of Love is Blind, which is a scam. But continue.
So what basically happens is they bring in I kind of like 17. It usually scales between like 15 and like 20 girls and guys to match up with each other. So they bring them on. They don't see each other's faces or anything. They're in pods. So all they can hear is just audio, just the voices. So they don't know what they look like, their race. They just know they're, male or female. So that's basically about it.
They have the men quarters and the women quarters. Can't see each other.
So the premise is pretty much like to see if love is actually blind, where you don't see the other person physically, you just get to know them for, you know, for them, for, what's their actual personality is like, their likes, dislikes, um, political views, um, religious, what type of foods they like, whatever, you know what I mean? To see if you're a match with this person without actually physically seeing this person.
My biggest thing about this show and why all reality shows, Bachelor, Love is Blind, what's the other one you watch?
It's Perfect Match,
Love Island?
Love Island.
Okay, I thought that was another one.
Yeah.
Why do people be fake for these shows? I want the show to literally have these people's exes because in real life, none of these people act like the way they act on this show. But we'll continue. We're still going to do the review, even though I am totally against Love is Blind. So the first thing we do, we start meeting the guys. I have a list of all the guys and all the girls. They each come in, and there's like this corridor, and the women come in and the men come in, and they call them pods, and they basically have a date. I'm not even sure if the date is every day, twice a day, 5 times a day. I see they have different clothes. I see there are different things, but I have no clue how many times a day they're actually seeing each other, being with each other, talking to each other. But I'm sure in this first episode, you get to meet everybody and you get your own little burn book. They call it journaling. I call it a burn book. What do you have to say about that?
Um, I I believe in the first day for sure. Everybody meets everybody. So, within like the first, because you got to think like they have 10 days. So they have to pretty much go through, right away. Okay, I don't like this guy or girl, whatever. You know, I don't want to talk to him no more. Him, her, whatever. You know what I mean? So it's pretty much it's like speed dating. You just get the bullshit out the way, and let's cut to the chase. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of the thing. So it's like really, like rapid. It's a lot of stuff going on. People in and out. That's why you see a person in the same clothes, and I believe they switched the girls. The girls like stay in like the same pod because what I would say what we're gonna talk about later is like they look like they're still in that same couch and they're very comfortable. And then like the guys, they just switch their ends of the rooms, the corridors, and that's how it goes. So they do like a process of elimination, pretty much.
So we get to meet a whole bunch of guys. I got a list. I got Kevin, 34. He's an accountant. Vic, 33. Professor of public policy. Have no clue what kind of job that is. Devontae, which I saw him. It's kind of funny when you see they show like him and then he just like disappeared for the rest of the episode. I never saw him ever again. Mike, 27, salesman. Parker, 28, business owner. Kevin, 31, realtor. Jordan, 33, software, sales. Chris, 32, software sales. Fun fact about Chris, he has a cat named Chalupa, which I thought was really funny. Connor, 31. Steven, 31, finance. Alex, which is a soccer coach. I don't know how you want me to do this because do you want me to put my notes? Should I say my notes while I'm like anything that I got
Yeah, just
on them?
Just like you're the most interesting tidbits,
So first of all, Vic is predominantly in this episode. And I'm just like, I'll comment on him later, but Vic is definitely present in this episode. The ones that I really stood out was Mike. He said he wanted kids. Jordan, he was the one that was 33, software sales. He kind of looked like the typical jock. I put him down as like a Shrek. But I mean in a good way. But to me, I describe him as like a Shrek, like a good guy. He seemed nice, funny. Chris, who I was talking about earlier, who has a cat named Chalupa, he said he has done Iron Man, which is kind of interesting. And he said he was in Kuwait and did Black Ops, which was a little mysterious. But hey, the bad part that I didn't like just initially is his quote was, "I'm gonna make you do hard shit." I was like, absolutely not. I don't want you to make me do hard shit. I want you to make me do what I need to do. But I didn't like that comment, but it could just be me. Connor, the accountant, he said, which I know is the weirdest thing I've ever heard. He told one of the ladies that because she went to the school where the mascot is Wolverine, is that Michigan? So she went to school in Michigan.
Yeah.
And he said, that is the hottest thing I've ever heard. I'm like, Cap, like, you're telling me because I said I went to school in Michigan, that is the hottest thing you ever heard just because you like Wolverine? Nah. And he also acted like he kept giving everybody these stars. He's like, you get a star, and you get a star, and you get a star. So pretty much every girl were getting stars, and he loved everybody, and he kept going, oh, you're going to be my wife. He actually said that to two people, Breezy and Emma. Steven, he wants to be a big brother. He had a really cute story about his grandparents that how they met. It was really cute. It was kind of romantic and sweet. Alex, he's the soccer coach. He's a little nasty boy. Like, he was in there talking about feedback and how he likes dirty talk. So those are my notes on the guys. Would anything stand out, or anybody who stood out for you?
Definitely Vic, which we're going to talk about later. He stood out. What was it? Connor? Was that the Shrek guy?
Shrek is Jordan.
Jordan. Really nice guy, cool dude.
Yeah.
He seems like very down to earth. He was talking about, he likes to cook and everything like that.
Yep.
And I was like, man, this guy's like, he's like a real catch. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm really pulling for him. I'm really pulling for him. So
yeah, he does seem like a nice guy. He wasn't a lot in this episode, so we'll have to wait, because the way these reality shows go, they have to tell a story, and they basically focused on Emma and Vic and Christine, and I'm gonna have to figure out who the other guy was with Emma.
Oh yeah, I forgot his name.
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure that out. So most of the focus of this episode was basically everybody getting to know everybody. And then there were two standout couples that they basically focused on this episode. So it was Vic and Christine, and Emma and Steven. So Vic and Christine, what are your thoughts?
So right out the gate, I gotta say, Margot doesn't like this, but they're the ones. They're like the typical like Love Is Blind like type couples, like where they do this to kind of I don't want to say sensationalize, because kind of like draw you get your attention in, like, oh my God, there's people that love each other already. They just met like 15 minutes ago, like
15 minutes, like one day. It's driving me crazy.
Yeah, it's so funny because like I knew this was gonna happen, because it pretty much happens like every year, you know what I mean? So, but like the way that they set each other up, how they're talking, their conversation. He's a professor, and I forgot what she does.
She is a speech language pathologist.
Very boring, very boring. So it's like, okay, like, sometimes they do this to like get them out the way. So like they have somebody like you have is like sensationalized, like where it's something to talk about. And then, okay,
water cooler talk.
Water cooler, exactly.
But who is talking about Love Is Blind at work? I would be embarrassed.
I'm sure there's some girls.
Who do you talk to at work?
I don't personally talk.
Exactly.
Because I'll be, embarrassed.
He is against the demographics they are going for.
Right. You know what I'm saying? But I'm sure just like there's some girls out there or some people out there that like talk, oh, did you watch that? Like, can you believe it? So like that's what Vic and Christina set up for. It's set up for the early, they do the early punch, and then because to me, it seems like there's not a lot of drama. There's not a lot of people that's going to get married for real. So they kind of do this to kind of just gain your attention, and there's going to be some drama, but it's not going to be a lot of people actually getting married, in my opinion. That's just my prediction.
And he's watched 10 seasons now, starting. What I don't like, okay, we have Vic and Christine, and then we'll have Emma and Steven. They were the most focused on in this, because everybody got to date everybody, and they just give you little clips. But we're gonna just do the highlights basically. So Vic and Christine, they're talking back and forth, and it's like, did you smoke? And he's like, no. She says, and he said, do you smoke? No. But then they both been arrested for possession. And I'm like, is there some cap going on here? How are y'all both arrested, but none of y'all smoke anymore? Then it was, oh yeah, I mean, I did a little of this, I did a little of that. I was just like, oh my gosh, they're bounding over both being arrested as youth, which, okay, I get it. But I don't know if it's 1 or 2 days. This guy is writing poems. And it's hard for me to believe that this guy is out here writing poems and just waited until Love is Blind to write this poem. Are you telling me that Vic never wrote any poems to this day and just could never snatch up any woman? When is the last time a guy wrote you a poem? I'll wait, but I can't wait that long because I can't even remember. It's probably been since high school. Somebody wrote me a poem about me. And now this guy gets up here writing poems and she's doing prayers. And I'm like, I wonder what her exes are thinking. Like, Christine, now you do not be, are you born again? Because it must have been last night born again because it wasn't tonight. And like all of a sudden, now you up here, and the Lord said to us, we are chosen. I mean, it's so hard for me to take these people seriously. That's why I feel like this is all a scam.
So, so yes, yeah, I believe so too. It was too much. It was too much, and like I said, like they do this not to this extent. You know what I mean? Or they're pretty much just like giving a script. You know what I mean? It seems like this early. So like that's what I'm saying. That they do this to pull you in and just kind of get you talking about it, and then they're gonna hit you, bam, episodes 2, 3, and 4. Those are the ones that's like juicy because now the people, they know each other now and this and that, and it's gonna be like, oh, I got 2, 3 boyfriends, I got 2, 3 girlfriends. Oh, which one to decide, A, B, or C? So that's the juicy stuff. The stuff now is like really like, okay, this is your introductory point, just to get to know the characters, and then bam, it's gonna come.
And just a little FYI, he proposed to her, and of course she said, I do. Oh my God. I thought I was going to throw up. I literally stopped watching the episode. I was at work watching it. I text Gary saying, there is no effing way I'm going to make this series because this is trash. You're telling me this guy already proposed to her? It's like, it gets better. I don't know. Pray for me because this was a lot. I just was like, this is a scam. Anyway. So then we had Emma and I keep forgetting his name. Steven. In a room. And what I don't like about this whole situation is I don't like when women use this trauma and they project it onto men to make them feel like they're the problem. When to me, I felt like she was the problem.
100%.
She is adopted. She says that she's adopted by 2 white parents. She was adopted by 2 white parents. She doesn't want to find her real parents. I think she said China. I'm not even sure. Not that it even matters. The point is her whole thing is, and she has had a melanoma that she has. So she has some scars on her arm. And she liked him. She doesn't want kids, which to me was kind of strange because she said she didn't want kids. Like, kind of in her interview, she said she didn't want kids. But then with two guys, she was like kind of feeling them. And it was kind of like, well, maybe. So I'm like, I feel like she's just waiting for the right person. So I just think you should tell people, I might not want kids as opposed to saying I don't want kids, but, or as soon as the guy said, well, would you adopt? And she's like, um, yeah. Okay, so I feel like she was kind of being fake. Like, because in the interview by herself, she's like, she didn't want any kids. Mm-hmm. But now that you're with a guy and you're talking to somebody, she started wavering. And to me, if you're on this show, like, you're supposed to be finding your husband and in this short period, like, you're supposed to get to the meat. Like, if you have this trauma, why are we telling people, well, she got upset. She was saying, basically wavering, like, either just tell someone, I don't want kids. Like, that's how I feel right now. I don't want kids. And I don't know if I ever want kids. Like, so, like, she was honest with one guy about that, especially the guy who really wanted kids. But then on the next guy, Steven, mm-hmm. she kind of wavered when he said adoption. And I thought, well, the other guy, you were kind of like, no. And then this guy, you're kind of like, And so I just felt like she was kind of, either she's lying to herself, lying to them. I don't know. I just thought it was very confusing for me. So I don't even know what the guys are getting confused about.
Okay. So my question to you is, like, how do you think about her being raised by a family of a different race than her own, like, influence, like, her dating choices and her life choices?
I think, I always say this because there are Black kids raised in white families and we get this whole white savior complex out here. I think it's great if people adopt, because I know there are people who want to adopt. The problem is they don't get them ready for the real world. And when Emma was talking about how that people didn't really like her in high school, I can only imagine what it was like. And my only thing in my mind was, she was probably the only Asian kid in her high school. So, and sometimes in my life, you're like around all white people and you're the only Black person. It's like, they're going to gravitate. Obviously, there's more Black people, white people. So if she was around a whole bunch of Asians, she's pretty. Yeah, she has the scar, but she predominantly would have gotten more people. But now she's raised by two white people, surrounded by white people. And this is just me just putting out there. I don't even know. For all I know, she could have had a whole bunch of Asians. And the problem is when you around just one type of group, not everybody is attracted. You don't grow up thinking you're attracted because they're just not attracted to you. So you just think, wow, everybody, I'm not pretty. Like, this is what's pretty. I'm not what's pretty. That's what it was giving me. But
I think you're right, because she was talking about the late bloomer. Remember they talking about the late bloomer?
Yeah, she got upset that she was a late bloomer, and I'm like
that.
I didn't. She got upset because Steven called her. They both hadn't had sex until they got to college, and he said, "Oh, you're a late bloomer like me," and she's like, "I don't like being called a late bloomer," and I'm all, well. He wasn't trying to say it in a rude way, and he was saying it like I did. Like, we're twins, we're twinsy. Like, it's the same. Like, and she took it. You could see her projecting because of how she felt in high school, how she felt in college, and it was bringing up stuff from her past and her mind. And he's like he gives this great story about his first kiss, and he gave the whole story. And he talked about how he lost his virginity. Great story. Hers is bad. And that's the way, because she said, oh, it was just the first kiss. It was just a guy. Oh, we just we like each other and we just did it. Like her story, she's like projecting. Like it's almost like like she was bitter uh, towards him. Like now she didn't like him because she's like, oh, look at this guy. Like, oh, he had a great first kiss and he had a great first time he had sex. And all I kept thinking, she kept getting sadder and sadder and sadder. When it's really her projecting because she didn't have that. She didn't have a good first kiss. She didn't have a good time having sex. So it's like, you know how you see people and they're so happy and you just want to fucking strangle them? That is the thought. Because sometimes it's like going on Facebook, going on Instagram, going on YouTube, and you see someone happy and you're like, not today, saying, I don't care if you're happy. There's something wrong with you. Like, stop playing. Like, I will find anything to pick that person apart because I'm so irritated, which there's absolutely nothing wrong with the person, but it's you're projecting because you're like, I'm not happy. So now you have all these great things, and it turned into a whole big old drama, Instead of her just going, I don't like you, she went into this crying fest after she got in the room. You would think Steven called her the B word. Like, he cussed her out, talked about her in like the worst way, when it ended where he just said, okay, we just not for each other. And then she went back into the girls like, oh, cry. I was like, really? Like, you're crying. And so they're all comforting her, girl, which is, you comforting this girl that you don't even know what happened. She's just crying, which is fine. But my whole thing is, I'll be sitting back there like, what'd he do? What's the story? Like, what did he say? And to me, that would affect, like, maybe I don't want to talk to him no more. So to me, I'm just like, I don't know if they know who they're going on dates with, because to me, that's like, that's straight, what do you call it? When, like, almost kind of cock blocking, like messing up his game, because she comes back crying, and it's Steven, and Steven's great. There was nothing, like, he didn't do absolutely nothing wrong. There was nothing, it was all her projecting to me. It had nothing to do with him. And she goes back crying. Who's going to want to go on a date with him? I'd be like, what the fuck did Steven
do? And see, that's what happens in these, reality shows, especially this one, because you don't know, how the other person actually is reacting, and what's their side of the story, right? So now, like, you're left, like, unguarded now. Now you're like, you're pretty much like defenseless, because you don't know what's going on, so it's like, because this happened like 2 or 3 episodes ago, and they just
seasons, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry, 2 or 3 seasons ago. Okay. Yeah, they just bashed this guy, you know what I mean, and he didn't even do nothing.
So the girls do go back and tell.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what I felt. That's why I was like,
yeah, I don't think in this case that's like what her intent was. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, she's very insecure, in my opinion, so she's like doing a lot of... I can
see it because of the scar, but she's projecting all that on him and getting upset because he's happy and she's not happy. I don't think she should be on the show, honestly, because I don't think she's in a mental place to even... And if you're not right with yourself, why are you on this show?
Exactly.
You don't even know how you feel.
Right. And that's what I was going to say. Like, you hit the nail right in the head. Like, if to order to look for love, you know what I mean, quote unquote, you know what I mean, you have to, like, love yourself, you know what I mean? So, it doesn't seem like she does to me. Like, it doesn't seem like she's, like, right with herself mentally, where she needs to be as far as confidence wise and everything. Like, I'm sure she's, probably had like great upbringing and whatnot.
And she's pretty.
She's pretty, you know what I mean? But, like...
But if you don't think you're pretty...
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, then it starts with you first. So, screw everybody else. If you can't get yourself right, you can't get nothing else right. You know what I mean? So, like, I agree. You shouldn't be on that show. I don't know what they're doing. I mean, you know, sometimes like I see, it seems like they like do this to like once again since sensationalize. Oh, okay, we're gonna have this. You know, they put everything in the categories: crybaby, somebody you know who's
There's gotta be a
erratic, this
sex
that,
person.
yeah,
There's gotta
sad,
be
you
a
know,
sexy
yeah. But
person.
you know what I mean. So that's she was put into a category, and
She checked the boxes.
she checked the boxes. She's probably going to end up walking off. You know what I mean? Like, you know, they like all this. You know what I mean? Like, you know, all PR is good PR. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Good or bad. So that's what I got to say about her.
And the way they did it, I mean, like I said, it focuses on two people. The other people, you would think they didn't exist, but I'm sure they'll come up with more episodes. This is only the first episode. I'm already done. This is a labor of love because we have been saying that we should do a show, a recap. And I'm like, no, please. I can't watch this. I watch it from the side. Like, I'll be in and out. Like, I'm not in the game and I don't want to know what's going on, but I'll walk by seeing, like, girl, why did she do that? So now I have to have a little bit of skin in the game. Unfortunately, I'm going to try to watch this whole season. But anything else before we wrap up? Oh, no. And so they always in the episode. This is what stresses me out too. I can't stand it. They end it on a cliffhanger, which I can't stand. And the cliffhanger, all it was ambulance coming and we have to take you out. So we don't know what that is. We haven't watched the second episode. We're gonna watch the second episode.
Can't wait.
Maybe this will be up by then. Maybe we'll have 2 episodes in this video. Maybe we'll only have 1. You all know how this goes. The struggle continues. So welcome Gary and welcome us to Love is Blind. No, you do heart and I do this. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next episode. Bye.